What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers this evening. As, we are closing in. What are we? How many days away now? 6, gentlemen, is that right? 6 Mecole Hardman days away?
That's right.
Seen that tweet this morning, Tim. Looked clean seeing Mecole Hardman in a Packers jersey for sure, man. Hopefully everybody had an awesome day. And, obviously we got a big holiday coming up this weekend with Easter Sunday and it being Good Friday for those who celebrate, happy Easter weekend. And if you don't, hey, appreciate you hanging out with us too. It's going to be an awesome weekend, man. We're expecting a big crowd here at the house. And usually how that happens is I grill enough food to kill an army. And then I try to disappear away from the crowd. And Mandy comes finding me and, finds me upstairs hanging out in the studio. She's mad, get downstairs, and I hide in the master suite. And she's like, hey, get out here, talk to people. So it's usually how that goes. Anyway, hopefully everybody had a great day, man. We got a bunch of stuff to jump into here. I want to give a shout out real quick to the newest Patreon members. Appreciate you guys and gals supporting the show. This is just for the month of April. Les Drops became a $3 member, went ahead and got the yearly subscription. Appreciate you. We got Michael Evans. We got Jerry Weiss Corbley, who is a $5 member. Appreciate you supporting the show. J. Cole, Robert Weber, I apologize if I mispronounced it, $5 member. What's cool about these $5 and $10 members is you don't have to do that, guys. 3 gets you everything on the site, but it's just people that want to do a little extra for the show. We greatly appreciate it. But he went ahead and paid up for the year as well. Jared Janowski. We got Paul Hepperla, another one paid up for the year. Coach Lynn in the house. We got H.E. Solder paid up for the year, $10 member. Appreciate your help there, Solder. You're the man. Andrew, I'm going to screw this up. Switchenberg. I hope that's right. We got Alan. That's easy enough. Just Alan. No last name, no nothing, right? We got Bearded Buck Outdoors. I think we know who that is. Probably some knucklehead on the screen right now.
There's a guy.
Pack Rob, yearly membership. Appreciate you. Clint Cosgrove, yearly membership, $10 tier. Appreciate you. And then Doug Fox becoming a $5 tier member. You guys are awesome, helping support the show. And excited to give back. Obviously, we're giving away an autographed Sean Ryan rookie card tomorrow. So on the live stream, we'll put everybody's name on the wheel and spin that sucker. So,
I just wanted to add to that point. Clint was messaging in Patreon there. He had gotten 5 more Patreon memberships, I think, as well. And he said, I was going to give it a shot and just throwing the link in the chat tonight, maybe. And seeing, I think he did YouTube, but I also think he did it in Patreon. He had told him to just try to throw the link in the chat and see if first 5 get to it, can hammer it.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds good. And I've got a year-long membership we need to give away too. I think I'm going to do it on X. Okay. And just go, hey, everybody who retweets this for our Patreon group, we'll put your name on the wheel, that type of thing, and give it away. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, just again, I know this has nothing to do with Packers content. I just want to make sure everybody understands how much we appreciate you guys and gals supporting the show. You're awesome. So, all right, let's dive into a couple of different topics here. First of all, let's get into the Patreon questions group here. I always love hitting these. It's a lot of fun seeing, kind of testing the pulse of everyone in the Patreon group. It's just another perk of being in there. This is, how would you say that name, Jacob? How would you say that? Deific? Deific?
I don't want to take a stab at that one, to be honest.
Right, don't worry about it then. All right. Really cool profile pic with the dog with the sunglasses for sure. I know it hasn't escaped you guys that tight end is potentially a sneaky need. Naturally, the talk is around the top guys as they're pretty fun this year. Here's a different angle though. Malachi.
Huh?
Is it Malachi or is?
I think it actually
is a name. Maybe that is a
Malachi. Maybe a typo there. Anyway, how do you say the last name? The last name.
Matavo.
Matavo. All right, close enough. From UCLA, could be interesting day 3 pick. Check out his particular scouting report. Quote, I'm convinced. Say it, Jacob.
Matavo,
there you go. I'm convinced Matavo is built for modern NFL zone-heavy passing attacks. The film shows a tight end who consistently punishes defenses that lose track of him in coverage, particularly in the UCLA-Fresno State matchup, where he worked the middle of the field like a veteran. Green Bay's offense stands out as an ideal landing spot. LaFleur's system perfectly matches how UCLA deployed him in 2024. Blocking concerns aren't going away overnight, but you're getting a 6'6" chain mover who already knows how to use his frame in the red zone. Watch his touchdown against Washington. That's NFL caliber spatial awareness against zone coverage. Give him a year to build up in his lower body strength and refine his blocking technique, and you've got yourself a legitimate tight end too with upside for more. The tight end class is loaded, and height, weight, speed specimens who are still figuring out how to play the position. Matavo's different. He's got limitations athletically, but the game tape shows a natural football player who just gets it. Put him in a zone-heavy scheme or system where he can read coverage and find soft spots, and he'll outperform his draft position by year 2. And y'all look at this cat. Just gave him a look. He's in the 170. He's actually in the 177 spot on our board. And, it's talking about, too, that he's kind of just one of those tape guys, right? He scored in the 6s in RAS, so obviously he doesn't get an RAS bonus there. We don't have a whole lot of information on him other than that. But you never know, man, late in the draft or maybe an undrafted free agent. This might be one of the guys that LaFleur looks into here. Now let's move on to Chris N. Love how he always puts – what do you call these guys? Are these GIFs, emojis? What is this?
Jiffies.
Yeah.
GIF.
Really quickly, just to Matavo, 99 overall season 6 card that you can buy with trophies now. And I mean, he's a blocking. It says he can block on college football, so I might need to pick him up.
Hey, real quick, whatever his name is, Maliki or Maliki Laka. Matavo is
Maliki, yeah.
Maliki. It says Matavo's an outstanding mover at 6'5", 265 pounds, which allows him to separate 91st percentile separation rate in 2024 and produce after the catch 7 yards after the catch in 2024, which was the 78th percentile. Did not grade well with PFF, which is interesting, but he's only 22 flat and he's 6'6", 263. I don't know. It's interesting there if he's a blocker. Can he block, Emilio?
According to college football, he can.
Can he block, Emilio?
While he's flashed as a run blocker, he's very hot and cold in that aspect. He projects as a TE2 with a ceiling worth betting on somewhere on day 3.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, Chris in the Patreon questions. Why the heck haven't the Packers had a top 30 visit on Jaden Higgins? I think Tim might have hacked Chris in here. They're starting to make me nervous. No Senior Bowl, no top 30, and technically no threshold. Maybe he's not even on Goot's board. It doesn't mean he's not on his board, Chris. I think he's on his board, and I think he's probably pretty high. But you make a great point, man. When you look at tendencies, I'll tell you this. He probably would have fit one of 3 draft picks from last year, right, that didn't meet that criteria. It's just the majority of the guys that they draft seem to fall in Senior Bowl. Top 30 is a pretty good chunk, and obviously the athletic threshold. Now, in terms of the athletic threshold, it wasn't that he didn't meet it. It was just incomplete, if I remember correctly. So, and again, he should have the hearts next to him.
He does have the hearts. And he also has a -5 RAS.
Yeah, so he's meeting the threshold, Chris. There's no doubt about it. Now, again, incomplete RAS doesn't necessarily mean that Goody won't take him. I know there's some people that say that Goody has never taken someone with an incomplete RAS. I don't think that's true. I'm sure you can find a draft pick or two that Goody has taken that did not have a complete RAS card. It doesn't mean that they didn't get the answers to the questions, with an in-house visit or something like that as well, or maybe meeting somewhere else. So anyway, though, Higgins, though, I think he's on the board. What do you guys think? I mean, there's no way that Goody does not have him on his board, right?
I feel like he's one of those cases where he knows everything he needs to know. Like he's seen it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or he's using those 30 visits, the top 30 visits, to find out differences in players where he's on the fence about. If this is just my opinion, I think that he looks at Jaden Higgins and goes, I know exactly what I got in him, what could be there. I don't need to see any more other than if he falls to us, then that kind of thing. What do you think, Tim? Come on, Tim.
I think it would be foolish to think that he's not on Goody's board. I mean, I think he's on a lot of people's boards, but it could also be a scenario like we mentioned the other night. Maybe he did have a top 30 visit and we don't know it. It does happen. You can find out after the fact. So I don't know, man. I think either way, it's still a 50-50 shot if we go receiver in this draft, which I believe we will, if Higgins is even on the board available to be picked. So I don't see us reaching for him in the first round, and there's no guarantees that he's there with our second round picks. So I would agree with your statement. I think a lot of us kind of know what we're getting with Jaden Higgins, if you've done any kind of research on him at all. And I'm sure Goody and the scouting department has done a hell of a lot more than I have. So I think everybody kind of knows what we're getting right now. And incomplete RAS is not crazy to me.
Yeah. And I did reach out to Easton Butler earlier today. We were chatting back and forth, and I just asked him, if my count's correct, we're sitting at 25 in the top 30 visits. You think we'll get wind of any others or keeping them under wraps based off your past experience? He said last year we got to 29, with the 29th coming day 3 of the draft. I bet 1 or 2 more will come out by Wednesday. So probably get to maybe 27 or 28 by Wednesday by the time we touch down in Green Bay. So we'll definitely check that out and keep our eye on those top 30 visits, as they're absolutely huge. So again, hearing Wildy and Tausch talk about the high percentage of prospects that they actually draft that they did top 30 visits with, has pretty much put to bed this whole, folklore that GMs are wasting those top 30 visits on trying to throw a smoke screen. They're just too valuable for sure. So yep. John Schmidt in the chat says a lot of top 30 visits this year scream medical questions, and Higgins is sort of what you get what you see. I think that's a great point, John. Yeah. I think that's a great point. It's exactly what Jacob was saying there.
Yep.
So, all right. Jordan Love actually talked about a wide receiver earlier today. He was asked, Pterodactyl, get out of here. Oh, I caught it, man. That was Mr. Miyagi stuff right there. You kidding me? Wax on, wax off. So Jordan Love was talking about a receiver. He was, not that kind of wax. Jacob, calm down. Jordan Love was talking. He was asked by Kay Adams earlier today. If you'll give me a screen grab, Tim. He was asked about Jaylen Royals, who played for his alma mater there, Utah State. So let's take a listen at what Jordan Love had to say about Jaylen Royals.
So if you're not texting Goody, are you just like leaving DVDs of Jaylen Royals around places, like in the training room, at his desk? Like, let's be honest, but come on now.
I think being from Utah State myself, having a receiver like Jaylen Royal that, has came out, has made a name for himself, I think they've watched plenty of tape on him and probably already know that I would definitely take a fellow Aggie myself. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see where he ends up.
Goody, do the right thing. 4.3240. Let's go. School record, 15 touchdowns in 2023.
Hey, Kay Adams, boys, I'm telling you, she was the one leading the charge with Xavier McKinney there to Green Bay. So don't be surprised if Jaylen Royals ends up being a Packer. Emilio, do you got him pulled up on the board by chance, man?
That actually would have been a really good idea.
No, I'll do it right now. I got it right now. I'll put it on.
I got him. Hold on 2 seconds here.
I like Kay. I was just going to say that. Go on.
I bet you do like Kay.
I'm just saying, she seems like a nice lady.
She's a nice lady. Nice lady. Let's see here. Jaylen Royals, right? Yeah, man, this is it's looking like a pretty good fit here. Boys, the only thing he's lacking is a top 30 visit. Emilio, you seeing this here in the 73 spot on our big board?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a perfect fit. It's right around where all the other wide receivers are. Jack Besh, a little bit past, Higgins, right next to A. Manor. I think that there's just a window there in probably around the third where, if you're going to take the pull of that wide receiver, there's still a really nice cluster there if you got squared away in the first and second round.
Yeah. Senior Bowl participant, captain of Utah State. Packers met with him earlier, probably at the Senior Bowl, and then he had the threshold there as well. Like we said, 9+ RAS running a 4.340. Tim, man, there's a lot to like about Jaylen Royals, man. That might be a pick that we're overlooking, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the concerns that a lot of us have with Rome, his whole situation with, multiple concussions and, we don't know what his availability is going to be like. Hopefully he's 100% healthy all year for us. But if you had any thought in your mind that Romeo Doubs may not be a Packer in the near future, then you definitely want to draft a guy like Jaylen Royals. As big of a Jaden Higgins fan as I am, Jaylen Royals stood out to me as well. And it's not just because of the ties to Jordan and Utah State and all of that. That's all fine and dandy, but can the guy ball? The guy can ball. He's not the most athletic, freak on earth or anything, but he's a damn good receiver and someone that should definitely be on everybody's radar right now.
Which filter do you want hit there, Amelia?
The tier 1.
Tier. Oh, okay, gotcha. Let's look at it here. So we're going to group it by tier here, gang. And let's see where we've got him at. Let's see here. So, yeah, when you look at the tiers in tier 65, and again, we go in increments of 5 on our scoring. In the same tier, you've got Jackson Dart in the 72 spot, Jaylen Royals in the 73 spot, Wyatt Malum at 74, Ellick Ayamaner at 75. Then you got Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. You got Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker out of South Carolina at 77, and then Charles Grant at 78. So this is a perfect example of if all these players are available, right, in this one tier, who would you take? You got to find your cluster buster, right? I like to go by need and make sure that they're meeting the thresholds, the things that Goody likes. Now, when you look at the emojis, Jaylen Royal pops off the page, does he not? He's got more emojis here. He's got the captain, like we said, Senior Bowl captain, met with the Packers and the threshold. He's got more than anybody else in this tier. That seems like the Packer pick there, Jacob, in that tier 65, man.
I mean, Jaylen Royals is a guy. I actually had a conversation with him with a listener today who approached me at work and was like, "Hey, man, what do you think if he listed 3 players? He's like, which one of them do you think they're all going to make it out of the first?" And I told him, no, I don't. But then he asked, he goes, "What about this Jaylen Royals?" He goes, "Every time I look somebody up, I feel like Jaylen Royals just screams like he's a Packer." Yep. And I was like, yeah, I said, I got to be honest. I see the same thing. And then he brought up the Jordan Love comparisons. And by the way, shout out T Spence. What up? What up, T Spence, listener? Actually, do you guys have listeners that come and talk to you? Have you met them in person?
I actually had someone. I had someone at my house today. A close friend of Mandy and her husband were here, and he told me, "Yeah, man, I was talking to a guy. I got a buddy that's a big Packer fan, and he was like, yeah, man, he was showing me some tweets and talking about a podcast, and he was like, yeah, I know that dude. We were actually at his wedding. Mandy helped put their wedding together over in North Carolina. Remember when I was at the house, Emilio,
yep,
right?
Yep.
Cylind fan. That was that wedding. But anyway, he was like, yeah, it was just weird. Like this dude, I just met this guy this past year, right, at their wedding. And he's got a buddy in Virginia, just up the road. We're kind of close to the Virginia line, so yeah, that's happened to me.
That's awesome. Not to me. No, sir.
Although we did have a listener in Maryville for a while, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So yeah.
But anyways, he brought up Jaylen Royals, and I agreed completely. And then when I actually looked at him on film, looked at how he graded out just recently, the fit he could possibly break. It just seems more and more like a really, really good fit, like a puzzle piece type fit. It's like him and Jack Besh and a few of the other mid rounders. I've started to really think like, God, that just, the Packers in the second, third, fourth round wide receivers. It just seems like a match made in heaven.
This kind of looks like a Jaden Reed all over again. 2023 is the numbers you want to look at. That was his best year. 1,000-yard season, targeted almost 100 times, 15 tutters. I mean, monster. My question is the lack of games played in 2024. Do we have any injury on him at all? He only played 7 games last year.
That's interesting. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do a little research on that for sure. So, yeah. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Love Royals as a second-round wide receiver drafted by Gootman Goot can hit on those second rounders. And, it's closing in on that ballpark for us, Mike. I mean, he's in the 74 spot, which put him, basically 10 spots away from the second round. And essentially, if he was one tier higher here, that would put him right in the ballpark of a second-round talent, according to our board. Right. So,
Tim, that's honestly crazy you said that. You talked about how good he was in 2023, and I agree. He had over 1,000 yards rushing on 13 games. But in 2024, slightly upgraded his overall PFF grade. Only playing 7 games, though. He almost hit 1,000. He had 839 yards on only 7 games, averaging over 15.3. You know what I'm saying? Like
less targets, less games. Yeah,
he was on pace to absolutely shatter that. He'd be around 1,500 yards, but something like we said, something must have happened there.
Even looking at 2022, he played 7 games in 2022 and had no numbers, 4 targets. Right. Are you guys seeing that? So I'm wondering what if anything is there if he's dealing with some kind of off and on egging thing,
Throw that on our text thread, and we'll get that information tonight for sure. That's very important. If there was an injury, we want to know about it for sure. Now, obviously, he's healthy now. He just ran a 4.340 at the combine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Good to go there. But still, it's nice to know that's why maybe he dropped a little bit and didn't continue to improve. There was an injury there. So makes sense.
On
Again,
a quick
Mike,
search, it said that there was a foot injury and he'd miss the rest of the season.
got it.
Mm,
So now the question is, knowing that he just ran a 4.340 after having a foot injury, I think we all agree he's healthy, right? So
does that dictate a red box though?
To me, the red box is, hey, beware, injury concern.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah. That's the way I
would agree. I think there's probably little to no concern that if he's.
Can you make it light pink?
Jacob, if we did that, everybody would be light pink because everybody hurt at some point or another.
That's true.
So, to me, I want it to be a red flag. Like Benjamin Morrison, listen, he's not been able to compete. He's not been able to do anything, in terms of like measurements and things like that, running at the combine and stuff because of that hip injury. Want to know about it, right? Want to know about it. And then when you look at someone, it's like there's no grade at all. Leave that in the red box so we know injury is the reason there was no grade, that type of thing. So that's kind of what we tried to keep it reserved for. If that makes sense. So, all right. Again, Mike, thank you for that super chat, buddy. Anything else you want to look at on the board here in terms of tiers, Emilio? I know it was your idea to pull it up here. Is there something you want to take a glance at maybe? Or
no, I just like searching with it now just because it kind of it gives a visual break, one, for the horizontal, but then two, you really do kind of see your clusters. I know DJ was talking he's been asking, I forgot how he worded it, but like if all else fails, like if everybody's gone that you had planned, what's your fail safe? What's that going to be in each round? I think that's, I think that's just something maybe to keep in mind. Hey, if everybody else fails, who are you pulling the trigger on? Like, hey, second round, Mason Taylor, if he's still there, get that tight end that's just a sturdy guy, reliable, you know what you're going to get, type thing.
Dude, I heard Daniel Jeremiah today on one of his podcasts where he takes just like a plethora of calls.
Yep. Love that one.
It's really good. It was the newest one he'd done for. Do you actually entertain that? Oh, man. Anyways, real quick
question: do you have Austin Brinkman on your board? We do, sir. He's actually in the 454 spot, long snapper out of Virginia or West Virginia, Senior Bowl participant. Go ahead, Jake.
No, we're doing the Lord's work here, Tua, for this. All right, don't put nothing past us. But he was talking about how Mason Taylor could be the steal of the draft kind of thing. Like the pedigree he comes from, where he played, the measurements, all that kind of stuff, and the fact that he maybe had a little bit of like some adversity where he didn't even really get his name out there as much as a lot of the other tight end. This is as much as the tight end draft where Kraft and Musgrave went, this is a really deep tight end draft. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to hear Daniel also talk about like Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. And when I looked at him, I'm like, damn. And then you guys know how much I love Gadsden and Fanning. And you look at guys even like Gunner, it's a bunch of different types, a bunch of them. It's an interesting draft for tight end. I'd be surprised if Goody doesn't pull the trigger on one of these types.
Yeah, Mason Taylor sitting in the 42 spot, Senior Bowl participant, meets the athletic threshold. You notice every box has got something in it. Senior Bowl, he really stood out. RAS is an 8+. Greg Cosell got a 3-point bonus there.
That's what it was. I think it was for his first round, like fail safe. If everybody that you had planned is gone, I mean, on 42nd on our board, he's gone in the second, but I'm taking him in the first because I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, and that tier 40 there too, guys, with a grade of 40 to 44.9, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 or 9 players in that tier, 2 of which are gold, and both have the spade. That's TJ Sanders with a grade of 40.7 leading that whole tier, and then Trey Amos rounding out that tier with a 43.4.
That's a great point, Clay. What if that is Goody's failsafe? What if those two are his failsafe on, hey, if something messes up, if we don't get who we like in the first 20 picks, here's our failsafes.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard Ryan talking about TJ Sanders earlier today. He turned on the tape and was like, oh my gosh, he's a lot of fun to watch. If you guys get a chance, go check him out. TJ Sanders out of South Carolina. For sure. One of those dudes that wanted to play basketball, if I remember correctly. He wanted to play basketball, was way better at football, wasn't really motivated when he first started playing football. And then his coaches talked about how he went from a guy who was always late to meetings to leading the charge and became a leader on the team. It's kind of cool to see him embrace that. So I like to hear those stories. That's stuff that Dane Brugler is really good about, improving in his scouting information. So, yeah, when you look at the rest of the tiers here, like if we go up to the top and go, okay, when the Packers pick at 23, let's say the board falls or the picks fall exactly how our board falls, then we're going to miss out on Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, right? Because they're in the 15 spot and the 19 spot. So in the tier where we would be picking, you probably have Michael Williams, Emeka Egbuka, Jahad Campbell, Malachi Starks, Josh Simmons, and Derek Harmon. If you had to pick from those, looking at the emojis, right, the ones that kind of pique our interest the most, it's definitely Emeka Egbuka. The only thing he's missing from being a gold and a spade is just a Senior Bowl. He was not a Senior Bowl participant, right? But he's a captain. Packers met with him. Top 30 visit, also meets the athletic threshold, checks a lot of the boxes there. When I look at that grouping there, guys, if I had to put money on who they would take there, just going off the emojis, it would be Emeka Egbuka or Josh Simmons. They're the ones that have the most kind of, that's what really pops off off the screen there. But Emeka Egbuka would probably be my top pick. If I was picking, I would go with Emeka Egbuka, then Michael Williams, then maybe Derek Harmon is the order I would go. What order would you go in there, Tim? You're going to be doing a mock draft here in a little bit, man. Let's do a little mini mock here. I'm going to name them off again here. You tell me who's the one you would rather have first and foremost out of this group, considering they're in the same tier. Let's just say you get the same draft grade on them, right? Michael Williams, edge defender out of Georgia. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State. Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. Malachi Starks, safety, Georgia. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. Or Derek Harmon, D tackle out of Oregon.
I'd probably go, not to be boring, but I'd probably go Egbuka first, and then actually I'd go Derek Harmon after him. That'd be my top two.
What about you, Jacob?
I think I'd go Egbuka first and then Michael Williams.
All right. What about you, Emilio?
It's got to be, top tier position. I think I would probably have to go. I'd probably have to go Josh Simmons, Michael, because
God bless you.
The most important thing is to protect Jordan Love. If you can find a star tackle and have him cheap for 4 years, and Rasheed Walker's got to head out the door, so be it. One of the stats was like Rasheed giving up, 34 pressures or whatever, and it's like, hey, if we can find a tackle to replace that, and then edge rushers, the second probably most expensive tier that we're gonna have to follow up with 4 years down the road. So if you can get one, and DJ likes Michael, so I
like Michael a lot. Josh Simmons, I know Jacob gags every time we mention Josh Simmons. This dude, captain, athletic threshold. Packers met with him twice now, including a top 30 visit. All I say is go back and watch the Eagles game. Go back and watch the Eagles game and go, damn, how did we get beat so bad? Right?
No, that's fine. I just hope Emilio knows that Josh Simmons is going to personally pack Travis Glover's bags and send him up the court.
No,
He will lovingly wrap his knickknacks and.
I don't think so. I think Glover's here to stay, and they would both help Rasheed if needed. Packs him up and head out. But honestly, my question is, the Ohio State guys were passing because of their late playoff run on the Senior Bowl. Is that something that we need to look into? Is that something that we need to take into consideration? That they're all most or all of the Ohio State guys passed on the Senior Bowl because of their late playoff run?
I don't know, dude. That's
a tough
question.
one.
It's a good question.
We'll think about it. We don't have to decide right now, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, real quick. Prince has a great scenario here. He goes, if Simmons, Zabel, and Connerly are all there at 23, which one are you picking? I assume he means you have to pick one of the three.
If Josh Simmons' knee checks out at the top 30 visit and they go nothing there, we're good to go. Hands down, it's Josh Simmons. It's not even close. This dude was supposed to be the top tackle in the draft before the knee injury. Now, if us not knowing whether the knee checks out or not, I can't honestly answer that question. I can't say, I would definitely take Zabel over him, not knowing if the knee's healthy or not. Now, if you're telling me, no, there's still problems with the knees, take Josh Simmons off the board in terms of the first-round pick. You might still take him in the second or third and let him get healthy. And then at that point, according to the board, it would be Josh Connerly. But we got Gray Zabel significantly lower. We got him down here. How many tiers is that now? 3-4 tiers down?
Yeah.
In tier 40. So, again, Senior Bowl captain and athletic threshold, though. It's not like Gray Zabel's a bad football player. There's just, when you look at how far he is down on our board in the 40 spot, he's got all the boxes checked, right? and you immediately go North Dakota State, small school, not that good of competition. Well, what did he do in the Senior Bowl? He just went out there and kicked ass. That's all. So Gray Zabel's an interesting prospect.
I love Gray Zabel. The chat kind of seems like they're pretty pro Zabel right here. I think it's because of that versatility and just the fact of the being scared about an injury. That's my mindset. Is I'm gun shy from any type of injury, and I love guys that are versatile. And he can, like we talked about a few episodes ago, he could play anywhere on that line.
If Gray Zabel. If Goody were to pull the trigger on Gray Zabel at 23, right, or maybe trade back to like 30 and take Gray Zabel, something like that. If you take Gray Zabel, now you got to go, all right, maybe Gray Zabel competes for a starting job there, right? Now all of a sudden your offensive line, which was a weakness against the Eagles in the playoffs, becomes a strength because you got Jordan Morgan back, your first-round pick, and he'll be healthy now. And then you've got someone who's going to be competing for a starting job there at right guard. And if he beats Jordan Morgan out, then you got literally first-round talent on the bench ready to come in, and one that played left tackle his entire career through high school and college.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but doesn't that kind of make the most like the chess move sense? Is if there's other players that are more valuable to Goody at 23, then that's one thing. But if the board falls a certain way and he sees a guy like, let's say it's Zabel or even a Connerly or whatever, and he knows for sure that I can plug in this guy into either, let's say, right guard or left tackle, or even center if it's a guy like Zabel, which then frees up Elton to go back to a guard position. Like you just talked about, Clayton, all of a sudden that quote-unquote weakness we have is studs with a couple of solid backups. To me, that's like worth maybe the quote-unquote reach in the first round. But how would you see that the same way, or would you see it as more of just a reach?
I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it's really, really simple. What does the board say? That's why we create this board. And you could use the PFF big board. And when you use the PFF big board, I don't like PFF. Okay, cool. Well, let's also incorporate the consensus big board. I don't like the consensus big board. Okay, let's include Daniel Jeremiah, former NFL scout. Well, I don't think Daniel Jeremiah's got all the answers. Let's use Kyle Krabs at the 33rd team. He's a draft specialist over there. Well, I'm not a big Kyle Krabs fan. Let's use Dane Brugler with the Beast draft guy. That's why I like approaching it this way, because over the years, I got tired of hearing people bitch and moan. And I'm like, Bub, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where you're going. And like the folks that speak definitively, this guy's a first-round pick. Oh, that guy will go here. And then when they get it wrong every single year, you never hear from them again. So it's like I like to take all of it, put it into a pot. So to answer your question, Jacob, it's really simple. What's the board say to do? That's how it is for me. And if there's an injury, you better have an answer. If that injury is legit or if it's still an issue or not. That's kind of how I see it. I know it's a boring answer, but it's really that simple. The other day, Jason Wilde was talking on his program about the time that Ted Thompson turned away from the microphone because they were going, you always say you're going to take best player available, but it's obvious you're drafting by need. And they said Ted Thompson turned away from the mic, or they couldn't even hear him. And he's just talking to the people in the room. He's like, pretend this is our draft board. We got the positions listed horizontally across the top, right? And then they're put down in the order of their grades, first-round talent, second-round talent, however you use your grading system, right? So when it comes your pick and you've got a number of players on the board with the same grade, whether it's a first-round talent, early first, late first, whatever, however your grading system works, and you got a cluster of guys and you got a need at that position, you're going to go by need at that cluster. And I guarantee you that there were some of the media members that probably went right over their head, but there was others that went, oh, so yeah, you're still drafting best available because you got guys with a similar grade. Now we're weirdo freaks and we take it to a 1/10 of a point and then do it in 5-point tiers. So you could technically go, this guy's better, but that's why we like to do the tiers. That way it's all right. You can see these guys are in the same range, right? You probably could go position of need in that specific.
Well, plus, and we joke about the emojis, but that is enough sometimes if it's within a freaking percentile, you know what I mean? A fraction of a fraction. It's like, well, that's the extra nudge. Like it's right. It's Absolutely. I like what Emilio did there. I don't care what everybody says about you, dude.
Everybody says.
I appreciate that. Too.
Even at your school on Thursday nights, I heard they say that. Weird.
They messaged us last time. This guy is obnoxious.
Unbelievable.
Which, by the way, Mandy, Tim, we got to get on the chat there. Mandy's getting some cannolis lined up. She may be able to have those delivered to your house. And she said, Clayton, these are Ferrera cannolis. If you guys don't know what that is, like they They've got a place. We went in Little Italy. They told me that's how you say it. It's Italy. It's not Italy. All right. They let me know that real quick. It's Little Italy. In Manhattan, they got a shop down there with pastries and stuff. So evidently they ship them into, I think, Costco, Tim. So, because I told her, I said, listen, I'm all about spending money on an event, but that seems awful expensive for some cannolis. She said, oh, let me tell you what they are. You remember that little pastry shop that I dragged you into kicking and screaming? And you came out of there going, damn, that was good. It's those people that make it. So, anyway, that's pretty much been the last 25 years of my life with Mandy. Anything good that's happened in my life, she forced me to try it. And I went, hey, it's not bad. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. So that's the way it works. All right, let's get into it. Anything else you guys want to talk about on the board? I think this is a good conversation, though, just talking about how the tiers lay.
Yes, for those in Patreon, there's an updated board as of like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, man, look at Emilio. Good stuff. Just another perk of being in a Patreon group. You got access to this board. And many people were getting in there going, how do you operate this thing? Just message us in there and we'll explain it. He put a new legend on the screen there. You can see here to the right. It's probably at the top, right, Emilio?
Yeah.
If you guys aren't in the Patreon group, I don't know what you've been doing. Personally, I've been in there for 12 to 13 hours now, and I can tell you, my life it's gotten better.
It's better.
Yeah. There you go. What a promotion. Look at Jacob, man. big company guy over here. All right, let's get into an article we wrote here. Cannoli deliberately coming to my house. Stop it. What world am I living in? Hey, listen, you don't get this double chin on my noggin by playing games, Mrs. Green. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to eat. There's very few things I know how to do in life, but I know how to find some good food, and I am willing to overpay every single time.
Thick.
As I once told a friend, food is the only reason I don't do drugs. That's what I said. And he just thought that was hilarious. So it was actually Eric Amelia. He was like, did you just say food is the only reason? No, you like, no, it's the only reason I don't do drugs. I promise you. So, all right. Don't do drugs, kids. It's bad. Okay. Now, put this together. I thought this was neat. Tom Pelissero wrote an article, and I went through and kind of grabbed the cliff notes. So all the credit goes to him. Go check out the full article. Kind of wordy. I love that you could take AI and really just kind of break things down into a very a smaller portion where you can actually understand what it's saying and get the important points in it. But the article here is titled 2025 NFL Draft, the most unpredictable first round in years. So here's some of the points that Tom Pelissero made. It's just basically the overview from him. The 2025 NFL Draft is expected to be highly unpredictable, fewer players receiving first-round grades compared to a typical year, which is typically 18 to 22 players, okay? This year, it said a team executive noted little difference between players ranked from 10 to 40. Early on in the process, Emilio, way early, Daniel Jeremiah said 20 to 60, didn't he, if I remember correctly? I think that was the number he used. So this executive said 10 to 40. And what that means is you've got 10 prospects that are at the top of the board, right? And then from 11 to 40 or 11 to 39, however you want to look at it, those guys are kind of closely graded together. I guarantee you they got them separated deeper than that. But that's kind of how this lays out, which would suggest, as we said early on, if after 10 everybody's kind of the same, trade back a couple times, get multiple swings in that little sweet spot there, right? So 5, I don't even want to look, man. I made a joke about drugs, and I didn't tell them what's going on.
Hold on, wait. Just, you think smoking drugs is cool? You think doing alcohol is cool? Michael Scott.
Was that when he was talking to Scott Stotts?
Yes. No. Was it
different?
I think it's a different one.
All right, 5 potential surprise first-round picks. This is Tom Pelissero, what he's hearing, reading the tea leaves, right? Carson Schweisinger out of UCLA. We've got him in the 54 spot, but he's hearing he may be a first-round pick. Former walk-on, led the FBS with 90 solo tackles. He was the Butkus Award finalist. Strengths are speed, coverage, three-down ability, instincts, and character. Could be targeted by teams needing an off-ball linebacker late in round 1. What do you guys think about that, man? He's 54 on our board. And again, our board is very safe. It's very, hey, the guys who performed multiple years and over about 5 different sources that we just named off, they all agree this dude should be high, as opposed to, 1 or 2 love him. They're going to drop on our board a little bit. So what do you think?
You know what's crazy? Emilio, I think maybe, I don't know if you told me this or maybe one of Clay did, but it was a recent Ross Tucker episode. And he was talking about how there was a guy named, I think it was Kane Medrano, who everybody was so high on going into the beginning of the season. And Ross Tucker was one of the few games that he actually got to call. He said he called it, and nobody talked about Carson Schweichlinger. It was like, it was a non-existent type of player. And then as the season progressed, Kane kind of fell off, and all of a sudden, every single pregame, people started talking about Carson Schweichlinger. And just the way that how he was so fluid and the weird instincts and the way that it just was kind of effortless at times, being able to avoid blockers, being able to take on blockers if they do get to him, all that kind of stuff. Cam Medrano now, like, he's fallen completely out of the realm, right? I mean, he's maybe a UDFA type prospect. Where do you guys first have him, and then where do you have Carson?
Cam Medrano. I think I just did something.
Kane is 288 on our board. 269 currently on PFF's board. So I mean, he really did fall out. But I do remember that pod. He was talking. He's like, yeah, they were all hyped up about Kane, and then who is this guy? Who is this 49 guy? Like, I mean, and he really did just take off.
What's the Dane Brugler number on him? I want to say it's really low. Amelia,
on Kane?
What is it?
On Kane?
Kane. Yeah, Kane.
He's 128.
128. So that's somewhere, what, a fifth rounder, I believe?
Yep.
So he's got like a fifth round talent on him, Jacob. So there you go. So again, Carson Schweichlinger is a name to look for. Tim, would you be okay if Goody had a first round grade on Carson Schweichlinger to go, yeah, I'll take him with the 23rd pick, or does that sound just absolutely insane, man?
It wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't think it's
probably wouldn't be my third choice.
I've heard even more insane suggestions than going with a prospect like this. But no, yeah, I wouldn't take him at 23.
Yeah, I'm with
you. He also only had 1 year. Like, he only has 1 year of PFF grades, because his other two in 23 he played 17 snaps with a 54.9, and 23 he did that, and in 22 he had 84 snaps at a 63.7.
Perfect example of why he's a little lower on our board, because again, we want those dudes that. Now let me give you an example though of, that's the pro of our board. Like, hey, it's safe proof in that regard, right? You're going to get the more consistent player higher on our board. But the con in it, last year, Edgerrin Cooper balled out for 1 year, right? I mean, he was dominant. The year before brung him down a little bit on our board, I think into the 40s, I believe. And he ended up being, now, obviously, Goody took him right around where we thought he'd probably be taken, somewhere in that range. But still, hindsight being 2020, I think everybody would look up and go, Edgerrin Cooper, the best linebacker in the draft last year. Probably worthy of a first-round pick if other GMs had an opportunity to go back and redraft. So next on the list, look at here, boys, in the 21 spot, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State, slot receiver with a school record 205 catches, 2,868 yards, 24 touchdowns in 50 games. You see that slot receiver? That's Tom Pelissero talking. Obviously, Jacob had to go there. But like Greg Cosell talked about over and over and over, you got a guy who can play moving Z and really, really fits into a Sean McVay type offense, a wide receiver that can kind of play all over the place. Durable. He missed only 3 games throughout his entire career, I believe that was. Explosive, compared favorably to Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was a 2023 first rounder as well, likely to be a first round pick. We've talked about Emeka Egbuka a lot. I want to go around the horn to see if anybody else's opinion has changed. But before we do that, that's going to do it for hour 1. So everybody listening on the pod, we will continue this conversation with Emeka Egbuka into hour 2. We appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour 2. Let's continue this. What do you guys think about Emeka Egbuka? Has anything changed on the front for you guys? We got him in the 21 spot. Obviously, the Packers top 30 visit, all that good stuff. Let's start with you this time, Tim. What do you think, man? I'd be totally okay with Egbuka at 23, man. And we kind of jumped on him about a month ago. I feel like we were leading the charge there because I remember catching some flack for it. I still got the scars from me going, man, Emeka Egbuka might be the pick. Then when they did the top 30 visit, everybody shut up. So, but anyway, what do you think, Tim?
I would agree. And there, he feels like the most likely to be there too at that point of the first round. You know what I mean? We talk about T-Mac all the time. T-Mac's going to probably, I don't want to make sweeping predictions here, but I see him going, inside the top 20 probably in this draft, depending on how things stack out. So yeah, if Egbuka's on the board at 23, I would have no problem if they took him at all. Of course, again, that I don't think Goody's going to double dip and take my boy Jaden Higgins in the second round, so I'd have to wave goodbye to my draft crush. But Igbuka's that dude. So long answer to a short question. Yes, I would be cool with him at 23. What about you, Excelio?
Yeah, I've always liked Igbuka, man. I think he's a dog. If it really happened, I would be crazy happy, but I think it'd be kind of like a Christian Watson type thing where, maybe they wanted to get back into the first round, couldn't figure it out, get into the front of round 2, grab him and get squared away and go.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either if he's the top receiver taken.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit. If people do genuinely have concerns about Tet, I could see them just going, all right, you know what, Igbuka's the safer pick here. And that's really the story there when you talk about those two receivers, right? To tell the two different receivers. You got a guy who's got extremely high upside in Tet McMillan, but, people are truly concerned about, hey, he might not love football. You guys know how we feel about that, and I'll just leave that alone. Then maybe he drops below, and Igbuka's that dude, like Greg Cosell said, you can bank on him being a 10-year vet. Just one of those dudes. Day one, he's going to come in, be a professional. He's going to be able to pick up the route tree early. Love the quad pads there too, Amelia. You see the cross on that? Pretty sweet, ain't it?
Absolutely. That is crazy. We went from just the 3 ripples across it to now they got designs on them. And then even in Madden, you can pick you want the little honeycomb ones or do you want the old school? Like, come on now.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next on the list here from Tom Pelissero is Jared Wilson. We've got him in the 104 spot out of Georgia. He was a junior, came out early, obviously, center out Georgia. Tom Pelissero's here, and he may go in the first round. Here's what he says. Top center prospect, allowed 0 sacks and 511 pass block snaps per PFF. Quick, tested well at the combine, though not as strong as some. Expected day 2 pick. Could go late in round 1. I would be a little bit surprised.
The breaking news, Clayton. He's at 100 on our board right now.
Is he really? Wow.
Mr. Excelio updated our board live on the show.
Look at y'all.
100 spot now.
Tell you, man, sometimes I think we know what the hell we're doing on here. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Like, we actually have a board put together? Come on, this spot. Like, what?
All right. What do y'all think about Jared Wilson? Do y'all think absolutely no way he slides into the first round? Emilio, if you're looking at the board, I don't know if you are or not, but what brings him down a little lower where we're, the fact that he says he may climb into the first round would suggest most people have him at least in the 60s on their board, right?
Right.
Why do we have him at 104 now?
We have PFF no score in 22, 23. He was 64 overall last year, 11th. PFF big board had him at 103, and consensus had him at 143. So those aren't helping. 33rd team put him in at 134. Dane Brugler had him at 83. He doesn't have a number from DJ yet, but he does have that -5 RAS. I really think it's going to be based on team needs. If Zabel goes and a team needs a center and they're worried about anything else, I think you pull the trigger on it. I mean, it's coming from a strong program in Georgia, knows what he's doing. He played there. I think he strictly played there.
I believe so too. Yeah.
So I mean, he's a dog. If you need somebody to shore up your center position, I could definitely see it going. Definitely a reach, but you always got to protect the high dollar QB.
Yeah. What do you think, Tim?
87 on PFF's big board now, so he's moving up quickly, and man, a lot to work on. I'm seeing notes on his football IQ and anticipation, things that he needs to work on with more snaps, more reps. But 6'3", 310, barely 22 years old. I would not be mad if this guy was a Packer at all.
Yeah. So there you go, Jared Wilson in the 104 spot on our board. Next, another top 30 visit for the Packers, Tyleik Williams. As of the creation of this article, he was 35th on our board. Emilio, you cut me off and let me know if he's changed. Tyleik Williams, Ohio State defensive tackle senior, stands out in a deep defensive line class due to his size, 6'2" and 7/8", 334 pounds. He's played 51 games and run stopping ability. Hamstring injury at the pro day limited pre-draft process, but not seen as long-term issues. You guys know he fell down, but his 10-yard split was scorching for a man his size, which means he's got that quickness, that burst. Hearing Ryan do his defensive line breakdown on him today just talking about how much he really liked Tyleik Williams and how he's a kind of a sure tackler too, if I remember correctly. But is he still in the 50 or the 35 spot for us?
He is. Yep, he's leading that tier. It's just him, Xavier Watson, Matthew Golden in that 30 to 35 lot.
Got it. And Tim, it says here he had 6 top 30 visits, including with teams picking late in round 1. What do you think about Tyleik? Tyleik's one of my prospects that if Goody took him at 23, I'd be totally fine with it. Totally fine with it.
Me too. Absolutely. I want D-line early in this draft. And it is interesting to see that these teams who have like late picks in round 1 are all taking top 30 visits with him. So it's going to be tough. If he's on the board, that's a guy you got to think about. I like a lot of what I see from him.
Yeah. What about you, Emilio? How you feel about it, man?
Yeah, strong, powerful guy. If we need that TJ Slayton replacement, I think he's it. I mean, DJ had him 30th, 33rd, 47th, and Dane had him 33rd. Greg Cosell absolutely loved him. I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, if they Packers want him, that's a boy that we can bring in and put a G on.
Definitely. This next name, I'm damn proud to say that we were way ahead of the curve on Tyler Shuck. Like we talked about him months ago. And again, it was because keeping our ear to the streets, the Greg Cosell streets, and knowing Greg Cosell saying, hey, I got this guy as my second best quarterback. He's still in the 98 spot on our big board. But I just remember us having that conversation.
94 now.
94 now. I remember us having that conversation that, man, Greg Cosell saying this dude's going to be a first-round talent. Not he's going to be a first-round pick. He's saying he's a first-round talent. He doesn't project. He doesn't predict where guys are going to be taken. He does not build lists in order. He just simply watches the tape, gives a scouting report, and moves on, right? And he's like, This is my second-best quarterback. Like, meaning after watching the tape, he loved Cam Ward. By the way, Greg Cosell was all over Cam Ward back in the summer last year when no one else was. And it was hilarious. When the draft coverage started, he's like, Greg Cosell said something to the effect with Ross Tucker. I'm going to laugh when all of a sudden Cam Ward becomes that dude that separates himself. The tape has been there. He said, I did his write-up last summer. I haven't even touched it since. And I'm telling you, this dude has elite level traits. And then he said Tyler Shuck is number 2. So here's what it says. Emerged as a next-tier quarterback behind Cam Ward, competing with Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Milroe. Career stats, 62.7% completion percentage, 3,195 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 2024 at Louisville. Strength is size at 6'4" and 7'8", so basically 6'5", 219. Accuracy, processing, concerns is age. He's 25 years old. Of course, you can look at Bo Nix and what happened there. Injury history, collarbone, I'm not worried about. Shoulder, I think it was on his left arm, I believe. I could be wrong. And then the leg is what you're most concerned about. But then, again, he goes into the 40 or goes into the combine and runs a 4.6 40, the same as Aaron Rodgers. At 6'5" is just insane, man. It says could be a first-round pick if teams believe in his potential as a long-term starter. Anything you guys want to add to Tyler Shuck, man? It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. I can just see us being there at the draft on Thursday night, sitting there on the live stream. And by the way, guys, make sure you sub to the channel. We will be going live for the first, second, and third round. It's going to be a hell of a draft party we're going to put on. It's going to be a great time. I could see us being sitting there at about, 28 or 29, and here there's a trade and somebody jumps up in the first round and takes Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me. He was fun to watch in the Senior Bowl, and I'll tell you, I've got him in my mind's eye higher than Jackson Dart right now. Dart has fallen for me in this respect. So if we do end up, grabbing a quarterback in this draft, maybe Tyler Shuck falls on draft day and we end up stealing him later. It's a possibility. The best time to take one is when you don't, really need one. Ted Thompson 101, right? So I think there's a lot to like about Tyler Shuck, other than obviously the injury history and the age. That's a bit of a knock. But you look at the numbers and you look at the game tape on him. He's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, definitely.
4 degrees this man has. So I also gave him the little graduation cap. Yes, but I mean, smart guy. That's why you get the processing. Mechanics could be there. He's got the frame for it. I mean, that's a prototypical QB right there. If we wanted someone to stand in the pocket and spin it.
Yep,
definitely. All right, so there you go again. Tom Pelissero kind of talking about what he's hearing And these guys that may slide into the first round: Tyler Shuck, quarterback out of Louisville; Tyleek Williams, Ohio State defensive tackle; Jared Wilson, center out of Georgia; Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State; and Carson Swisinger, linebacker out of UCLA. So, all right, Tim, you ready to do this mock draft, sir?
I am.
You're ready to go.
Ready to get roasted, man. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you. The best what I've learned is anytime any of us do a mock draft, just turn the notifications off and don't look at the comments for a couple of days, because I'm telling you, you could knock it out of the park and there's going to be somebody going there and oh, really? You didn't take a corner? You didn't? There's always something somebody's going to complain about. But I love doing these exercises, and I really enjoyed having everybody do their individual one, just to kind of, it's a learning experience for me, because I've done a ton of mock drafts, and when I get done, it's like, okay, I know what I like. I know the direction I want to go, but maybe I didn't think of, taking two receivers back to back with the first two picks like Jacob did last night. Or maybe, Emilio, obviously Jade Barron falling in his lap, which it happened for Jacob too, Emilio. And Jacob said, I'm trading down. I'm taking two receivers in a row.
I listened to that. I don't know what.
I figured you would not like it. The majority of people liked it a lot, but you know how Packer fans are. They want their wide receivers. So, but all right, Tim, you ready to roll, man?
Yes, sir. Fire it up.
Here we go. Let's crank it up. And again, we could trade back if you want to at any point. You just let me know.
Oh, we're trading back.
What's happening? Huh?
I would like to trade back with the Texans, please. Houston.
So you don't even want to see the board right now?
Nope. We're going to move back.
Tim said, nope. Don't want to be sold on anything.
Two spots. We're moving back 2 spots, and we're going to pick up some capital here.
That's it.
All right, so for the people on the pod, just in this particular one, I haven't seen this happen in the last 4 or 5 mocks we've done. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle out of Texas, is there in the 13 spot. Mike Green at 17, Colston Loveland at 18, Malachi Starks at 21, Josh Simmons 23, and everything else kind of falls into place the way it has. Emilio, do you know where we have Kelvin Banks at on our board? Is he a little lower or higher? Where's he at?
Kelvin Banks is 13th on the board, leading the tier with Kenneth Grant, Shamar, Jade Shadeur, Mike Green, and Walter Nolan.
Boy, if Goody's board looks like that, he's probably running the card. Brace yourself. I'm just telling you. I just don't think Kelvin Banks makes it to 23 personally. So, Tim, you want to trade back 2 spots with Houston? Is that right, sir?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to go trade back with Houston. We're going to pick 23 for pick 25. You want to try to pick up 79 or 89?
I'd like to try and get 79 first if we can.
All right. Nope. They said no, sir. All right. So let's
try 89.
And try 89 now. They said no, sir. Now you can give something back if you want.
Nope. Let's just bail. I'll stick and pick now. See, this worked for me earlier. I traded back. I cooked in my mock earlier today.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could try another team here too. We could go back to the Rams or Baltimore.
No, let's look at. I'd like to look at D-line here.
You see where my cursor went before you even said it?
Yeah, he knew.
I knew. So you got Kenneth Grant at the 25 spot, Tyleek Williams 43, Darius Alexander 52, TJ Sanders 55. So obviously, you could trade back and still get Tyleek Williams. If you like Kenneth Grant here, now's the time to take him. No doubt about it.
I think so. What about edge real quick? Let's just look at edge.
Mm-hmm. Edge defender, you got Mike Green, James Pierce Jr., Nick Scorton, and Landon Jackson.
All right, we're going to draft Kenneth Grant out of Michigan at 23. Let's run it.
Well,
where's Kenneth Grant on our board, Emilio?
Mr. Kenneth Grant is right behind Calvin Banks at level number 14. Packers met with them East-West Shrine game threshold fit.
Got it. So we got the 14th best prospect in a position that could take over for Kenny when he's gone. We know that cap number blimps next year. Love it.
Man.
All right, Kenneth Grant, pick 23. All right, now going back to pick 54 as the picks are rolling in here. Best available, Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State, Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Notre Dame, Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU, Jaden Higgins.
Bro, stop playing with me. Draft Jaden Higgins.
Mason Taylor, welcome to the team. No, I'm kidding.
So we're going to break the world record here. Fastest mock draft we've ever done on PTA. Tim's just rolling here. We're going to go Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State at pick 54. Man, that's great value that Higgins fell that far. Holy cow, man. That is awesome.
Right. So, let's look at pull up cornerback, please.
All right, cornerback, you got Darian Porter out of Iowa State, Jacob Parrish, Kansas State, Denzel Burke, Ohio State. Which one do we have higher, Amelia? I'd like to know here. Darian Porter or Jacob Parrish?
Darian Porter we have at 66. Let me see.
Porter out of Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and Parrish is 104. So definitely further down. And they, DJ really does like Porter, size, speed combo. He went up against Jaden Higgins all the time. He went up against Noel all the time in practice. A couple top 100 receivers there. So I don't think that would be a bad pull at all.
Yeah, so it's going to drop off dramatically at corner after Porter, right, Emilio? That's basically what we're wondering.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking my my cheat sheet here.
He is actually.
Let's run the card on him. Let's do it. Yep, Darian Porter.
What you going to say, Emilio?
All I was going to say is Azrae Thomas, Porter, and Morrison are all in the same 60 tier, and then there's not another corner until Harrison 3 tiers down.
Okay.
That's a good note to make for draft. Not like after these 3 go according to our board, really drops off. So that's great stuff. So, all right, Darian Porter, cornerback, Iowa State, A+. Look at Tim getting A's across the board tonight, baby. Let's go. All right. Next pick is going to be pick 124. We have already taken at pick 23, defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. Pick 54, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State. Pick 87, Darian Porter, cornerback, Iowa State. What would you like to see, sir?
I would like to see offensive tackle and interior O-line if we can. We can do tackle first here.
Offensive tackle Anthony Belton out of NC State, top 30 visit. Chase Lunt, offensive tackle UConn, shorter arms, might kick inside, but he does have a lot of experience playing swing tackle. And for those that think less than 33, there's no way they can play tackle, go see Bulaga. Bulaga had shorter arms. They said, we're going to kick him inside. They put him in at guard. And hearing his words, not mine, he said, I couldn't do it. I was not built to play guard. They put him out at right tackle. I don't know. He just plays 10 years for your Green Bay Packers, a tackle with shorter arms. So just keep that in mind. Anthony Belton, Chase Lunt, Holland Pierce are the top there. Team, you want to see interior as well?
Yeah, let's see interior real quick.
Interior, Charles Grant, Jackson Slater, Seth McLaughlin, and Caleb Rogers. Emilio, where do we have Anthony Belton on our big board? And
115.
115. And where's Charles Grant?
Charles Grant is 78. Senior Bowl participant, captain, his PFF 22-32, 23-42, and 24-8.
Nice. So there's another Senior Bowl guy.
Yep.
If you go in offensive line, that's the dude here, I believe, Tim. You want to see another
top 50?
Yeah, we're gonna pull up wide receiver again.
Yeah, Chris the Casual said Bakhtiari had short arms as well. Great point there. He said wide receiver, Tim.
Let me see receivers. Let's see who's up here.
Tez Johnson, Ty Felton, Jalen Lane, Andrew Armstrong, and Kobe Hudson. Where do we got Ty Felton again, Emilio, on our board?
TAY, correct?
TAI.
120.
So it still would be Charles Grant here for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna run the card. Charles Grant.
I like it.
I love it, man. You're getting great value here, dude. Look at that, another A+, Charles Grant, William and Mary. Tim crushing it here.
Okay, let's see. Now we got to go back to the defense. You know me.
Oh,
you know what? Let me see D-line again.
All right. D-line, you got Jordan Phillips, Elijah Roberts, top 30 visit. Riley Mills out of Notre Dame, Ty Hamilton are your top 4 there.
Can you go back to all again?
Mm-hmm. All you've got Jordan Phillips, Devin Neal, Tez Johnson, Bashul Tootin, Ollie Gordon, Seth McLaughlin, Jeffrey Bassa, Smile Munden. It looks like you got a little flurry of linebackers here as well.
Yeah. Can you pull up Stackbacker, the whole list real quick?
Jeffrey Bassa, Smile Munden, Teddy Buchanan, Jay Higgins. Where's Bassa and Munden at on our board?
Bassa is 114.
Mm-hmm.
Mug. How am I spell that? Mund.
SOMONDON.
147.
So it'd be Bassett would be the best stack backer here.
All right, now edge, please. Let's check out edge.
Check out edge. Mike with the super chat says Tim is always the best at this. Love it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's why we waited to put the closer in, man. He just let everybody else go before us.
We went to the bullpen. Said bring in Mariano Rivera. Right?
Please, we need 2 outs. That's it.
Thanks for the super chat.
I only got 2 pitches though. That's it.
So edge defender, you got Powell Ryland, you got Tyler Batty, Kamen Rucker, Tyler Barron, and Fadil Diggs. Really don't like those, man. Those are kind of weak.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I think I missed the boat on edge. I could have went a little earlier. One more time, corner.
Cornerback again, Za Frazier. You got Kobe Bryant, Upton Stout, Jordan Hancock. Where do we got Za Frazier? Z-A-H, Emilio. And then we'll look at Kobe Bryant.
Mr. Za is at 229.
Yeah,
All right.
Kobe's
Kobe.
further down, I think, too.
I believe so. Let's see here. Kobe Bryant.
Kobe is 117.
Oh, okay. So he's higher. So 117 with Kobe. Look at Elijah Roberts real quick. You probably get a bad grade for him, Tim. I'm trying to remember where we got Elijah at.
Roberts 109.
Yeah, top 30 visit too.
SMU, East West Shrine Game captain, wrestler. Packers met 30 visit, but he did not meet thresholds.
Yeah, and like what H.E. Solder said, though, Roberts gives you position flexibility for sure there. As we know, he's kind of wild in that regard. I want to say he ran a 4.740 too, if I remember correctly. So what are you thinking here, Tim? It looks like you got a corner and you got a D lineman there to kind of choose from. The D lineman's going to get you a bad grade for what it's worth. I don't know. It might not. Pick 159. You're getting him.
Yeah, I don't care about these grades. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go. We'll go with the D line pick. Where did you have him?
Mr. Roberts is
Roberts. That's who it is.
Yeah,
and he's at 109 on our board now.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. So and you again, you had Kobe Bryant. What was he? 117, Emilio, I believe. Kobe Bryant. So yeah. So if you're going strictly by the board, Elijah Roberts is definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to go Roberts. Let's go Roberts here.
All right, let's see what the grade says.
Otherwise, I was going to wait for, try and get Cam Jackson or one of these other guys or Tim Smith, but I like the Roberts pick. All right, so what do I got left? I got 2 picks left, 3 picks. What do I got?
Yeah, 3 picks left, 198, 237, and 250. So far, you went D tackle, wide receiver, cornerback, interior offensive line, D-line. Versatile D-line, I guess you could say.
Tight end, please. Just for curiosity.
Oh,
look at that. Rondé Gadsden here.
That what you want?
Yep, Rondé Gadsden.
Before we pull the trigger too quick, and we'll pick Gadsden. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I was thinking about this earlier today. Emilio, where do we have Gadsden, and where do we have Jaylen Conyers? Those are the two that.
155 for Gadsden.
Okay.
And then
Jalincony.
Conyers is 171. So he's 20 spots behind him.
So Gadsden would be the pick here. Good stuff, Tim. Is that what you want, man?
Yes, sir. Let's run
the call. We're going to go a Rondé Gadsden tight end out of Syracuse. Somebody you could flex out wide too. Put a big body out there at boundary X if you want. Look at that A right there. Back in the A column.
Wow.
All right. Now we need to see. Let me take a peek at. Oh,
look out, Miss Green. Tim's cooking tonight. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Okay. So now I got a choice here because my gut's telling me Teddy Buchanan, but Tyler Batty. Where's Tyler Batty on our board?
That's a great question. I'd like to know that too.
Mr. Batty is 240 on the board at BYU East West Shrine.
Where's Teddy Buchanan? We're working Emilio like a dog, Tim. I like this. I'm just taking
Teddy is 179.
Oh, wow. That's my pick then. Let's take Teddy Buchanan.
-5 RAS, Tim, and he meets the threshold.
Yeah. Teddy Buchanan, you're a Packer. Let's go.
And Jay Higgins, you guys remember we had him ranked really high, and then he dropped. And I'm trying to remember where Dane Brugler had him. Where's Jay Higgins on our board, Emilio? And then tell me what the number is with Brugler.
Brugler has him 192, so a 6th rounder. He is 181 on our board, and he ran. I think they were saying he's still running his 40, so he's got a 0 RAS.
Got it. So Teddy Buchanan, right?
Yes, Tim? Sir.
All right, we're gonna go linebacker out of California, Teddy Buchanan, A+. No big deal. No big deal at all.
250. This is the tricky part. I would like to see
Trade
corner.
back.
Corner, please.
Let me get a 6-rounder for next year.
Right.
Okay. All right.
You
Because
got
I'm
Robert
thinking longer beam, or I'm thinking Huzzy, or actually no.
Running backs.
Where's hold on? Where's O'Donnell Fortune on our board, Emilio? Real quick.
Mr. O'Donnell.
We have him, I'm pretty sure, lower.
I think he is.
O'Donnell Fortune 277.
Emilio,
Okay.
why is he that low? Real quick.
PFF 22, he had a 91, 23, 456, 24, 18. What's really bringing him down? PFF Big Board 145. Consensus had him at 254. Dane has him at 256 UDFA.
Okay. Can I take a look at receiver one more time?
Absolutely.
See if some of my long shot.
Ooh,
Oh my goodness! Are you
Oh.
kidding me? So
Where's
it's either
Nick
Nick
Nash
Nash
or
or it's Ricky White here.
Yeah, look them both up for me.
Nick Nash is 152 on the board. East West Shrine captain and threshold. And
Click the button, Clayton.
Ricky,
Click the button.
Where's Ricky White? I got to know.
Ricky White is 146. So he is. Oh, I'm sorry. He's actually 6 spots ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So
6
Ricky
spots
White.
ahead.
Ricky White is a little higher than Nick Nash on our board right now.
That is correct.
That's
Ricky White at 146. Nick Nash at 152.
That's interesting. It can still be Nick Nash. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, Tim. It's just when we get to these spots where it's like, okay, between these two at this position, I want to just have this mental note of, no, they're pretty close to each other. You know,
We'll pull it up real quick on the board. Oh, you can't. You got it on the other screen. I was going to say tier 125. They're both in with Noah Williams, Ollie Gordon, Ricky White, CJ West, Josh Farmer, Kendall, Nick Nash. All of them are in the same one.
Let me ask you a question, Clayton. Can you scroll down a little? Is Ja'Cory Brooks still on the board?
I think he's gone. I could be wrong. Yeah, I want to say he probably went around the 5th round. Would be my guess.
Yeah, so he's gone.
Yeah, he's
we have him 299. Ja'Cory Brooks.
No way. Okay. All right, we thinking Nick Nash, Tim?
I'm thinking Nick Nash, but I'm also second guessing if I'm basically trying to make up my mind. Do I want to double dip at wideout or try and grab another corner?
Gotcha.
Pull up corner one more
You
time.
don't want to look at running backs, Tim, just in case.
So Robert,
let's look at running backs. I'm going to trust Excelio here. I want
just take a peek. Just see if there's anything of value over there.
Mike Hebring said this draft is freaking awesome. Well done, Tim. Do not listen to Emilio.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying.
All right, let's look at running back just to see who's there. Right.
Well, here we go. We get input from the Rusty Undercarriage live. Take Gadsden.
We already did, Jacob. Jeez, Pete, man, update your internet. Khalil Mullings, Taj Brooks, Corey Connor, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, Montrell.
Mullings is 158 on our board with a Senior Bowl and threshold fit.
Wow, that's 100 picks better than what I would have no problem with Goody taking him at 250 if the board fell that way. I think he'll be gone.
So it would be Ricky White at 146, Nick Nash at 152, and Mullings at 158.
And with cornerback, if we were forced to take a corner here, because like Tim said, I think you brought up a great point, Tim. You already got a wide receiver in Jaden Higgins. You already got Aronde Gasson who could play some boundary X and maybe flex him out a little bit, right? So it's like that wide receiver room all of a sudden got a little bit crowded. And you got Christian Watson coming back in November. So it's like, with that being said, cornerback, you got another spot for a corner on your roster, right? So Emilio, longer beam, what do you get? What's the number on him, man?
Longer beam, 295.
All right, Wally. Justin.
Wally is 328.
Huzzy
is 260.
Tommy Hill
is 221. Senior Bowl threshold fit.
Got it. And then what about Jermari Harris? That's when we get a bad grade for, but I think he's a little
Harris,
higher.
236. Threshold East West Shrine.
And what was O'Donnell Fortune again? I know you said that earlier. I forgot to write.
Was he 270 something?
Fortune 277.
77.
It's Huzzy, and then who was the one you said after Huzzy?
Tommy Hill.
Yeah, it's Huzzy and Hill. Huzzy being at 260, and then Hill being at 220. One.
And Prince pointed out Jason Marshall Jr. was a top 30 visit. He was highly touted coming out of high school as well.
Yep.
But he's pretty low on our board, right, Emilio?
Yes. Marshall
out of Florida.
Oh, wait, I remember him. How did
Marshall
I
is 303 on our board. Cornerback outside, but is an East-West Shrine, Chiefs emblem, threshold, 30 visit. He was hurt last year, though, which is really hurt.
torn labrum. Not good.
But, Tim, 98 overall card in Ultimate Team. So,
yeah. And some of these other boards have him inside the top 200, too, which is crazy. So
Tim didn't miss a beat. He's like,
Tim, like, I'm the one scout that's just throwing the GM these stupid little dingers, and he's just head focused on what he needs to do.
He goes, yeah, and just keeps
shuffling through his own paper.
What do you think it is, Tim? It's tough, man. 250 is tough.
Oh, my goodness. Let's go. We're going to go corner.
Okay.
And we're going to go with longer beam. I think we're going to go with longer beam. Cool. Or no, we had Huzzy was higher than him. Let's go with Huzzy. Elijah Huzzy out of Carolina.
That was right, Emilio, right? Huzzy was higher.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
No, you had it. Huzzy was higher, and then actually Hill was higher than Huzzy. Huzzy is at 260, and then Hill is at 221.
So do they both meet the athletic threshold, Emilio?
Tommy Hill has threshold. Huzzy does not.
There you go. Everything points to Tommy Hill here.
Let's take the kid from Nebraska then.
Oh, Tommy Hill.
Oh, Tommy Hill there. Let's go.
He used to pick up cannolis for me down in Brooklyn. Tommy Hill, C+, my ass.
Get out of here.
I did with that grade. All right, there you go. Let's hit the first round like we always do here. Now it's getting back to normal, gents. Cam Ward, number 1, finally. Thank goodness, right? Travis Hunter, number 2. Jalen Walker, 3. Armand Membu, 4. Mason Graham, 5. Jade Barron, 6. We were all over Jade Barron before many people were. That dude, man, all of a sudden he skyrocketed. Will Campbell, 7. Shamar Stewart, 8. Will Johnson, 9. Abdul Carter, 10. Michael Williams, 11. Omarion Hampton, 12. Shador Sanders, 13 to the Dolphins. Wow. 2 have been put on notice. Ashton Gianti at 14. Jihad Campbell at 15. Tet McMillan, 16 to the Cardinals. Walter Nolan, 17 to the Bengals. Donovan Ezeraku, 18. Ty Warren, 19. Luther Burden, 20. Derek Harmon, 21. Matthew Golden, 22. Kenneth Grant, I love that pick. 23, defensive tackle out of Michigan. 24, Kelvin Banks. 25, Josh Connerly. 26, Trey Amos. 27, Mike Green. 28, Colston Loveland. 29, Nick Scorton. 30, Maxwell Hairston. 31, Malachi Starks. 32, Gray Zabel. Now let's look at Tim's picks here for the Green Bay Packers. At pick 23, Kenneth Grant. Pick 54, wide receiver Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. 87, Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. 124, Charles Grant, interior offensive lineman William and Mary. 159, Elijah Roberts, defensive lineman out of SMU. 198, Aronde Gadsden, the second tight end out of Syracuse. 237, Teddy Buchanan, linebacker out of California. And at 250, Tommy Hill, cornerback out of Nebraska. Dude, you got value at every damn pick. That's solid.
That. I think we did all right today, boys. Good work.
There was no trades, right? That was all stick and pick?
Yep. We tried to trade, but, didn't work out like I wanted it to. It's funny, when I did a dry run this morning doing a little prep, it worked out just fine, and I was cooking. So I wasn't prepared to stick and pick, but I'm glad the board fell this way. I think we did all right tonight.
Man, you prepped, Tim? I should have prepped before mine. I
just did a couple dry runs, That's
I got on here. They said, you're drafting today. Okay.
This is a great point. I think I know what Margin Cron's talking about. Yeah. 0 SEC. There was no SEC players in this draft. That's wild to think about. But again, I like them all. I really do. And you guys know I'm a big Walter Nolan guy. I'd stand on the table for that dude. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in this draft. Kenneth Grant is higher than Walter Nolan on our board, right? So if we're sticking to the board, Kenneth Grant over Walter Nolan. However, I believe, ain't that right, Emilio? Or did something change?
No, that's correct.
That's right. But you guys know personally, remove the board. Clayton, which one do you like more? I like Walter Nolan more than Kenneth Grant. But again, you stick to the board. You don't go off.
They are in the same tier. They're 5 spots away from each other, though.
Gotcha.
Right.
So
I look at those two names and I'm like, if I'm fixated on going D-line, it's like whoever the heck's on the board for me, I'm going to pick, and tonight it was Kenneth Grant.
Yeah.
If Walter Nolan was there, I would have drafted him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Chad Ink said, I'd sleep great Saturday night if the draft looked like this. Amen, man. I'd be sleeping great anyway. We probably have one too many cannolis and daddy sodas.
Fall asleep in the Uber, you mean, right?
Absolutely.
Fall asleep at the draft table. Like we're going to set up a table where we can all kind of sit at and be on the screen together rather than scattered throughout the house. Yeah, Saturday morning, y'all gonna wake up. You're gonna wake up and cook up that Cafe Bustelo, and he's gonna find me in there. I'll be on the table like this.
We just need some sausage and some flour. We'll be making some biscuits and gravy, and we'll get off to the races here.
We will have breakfast DoorDash. There's no doubt about that.
Let's go.
I'm gonna light up DoorDash. If anybody buys stock in the market, go buy some DoorDash right now. Their value's about to go through the roof before I get to Green Bay. Promise you that.
Oh man!
All right. Anything else, boys? This was fun. That's a good show.
Save that one for me, just for reference.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll do the same thing I did for Emilio. I'm going to DM it to you. Emilio didn't have enough hair on his ass to tweet it out, so I had to do it for him, I believe.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll DM it to you right now, Tim.
Thanks,
yeah,
Larry.
Larry here, Tim said, nice draft, Tim. It would have been disappointing if you didn't get Higgins, right?
Exactly. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate that. And everybody in the chat, too. Thanks for the compliments. I appreciate it. Did the best I could. I see we got Greg Rice, no tackle, no edge. I made an effort. I just didn't. There was nobody I was in love with there.
Tim, you know what to tell Greg Rice. You tell that man we already have a tackle on the roster, and his name's Travis Claus. That's exactly what you tell that man.
Season 3, 72 overall card. Brambo with the been a member for 5 months. He says, "Where do I park on Thursday afternoon, Tim?" Tim already got the hookup on his park.
Yeah, I took care of that like 3 weeks ago, man.
Tim's already parked his car there 2 months ago. He's ready to go.
You want to know where I'm parking at? I'm gonna go. Where's my Uber app? Take me to the front gate.
Yep.
I'm not trying to walk anywhere, man. What do you think, Tim? You got any advice for him, man?
If you stay north of Lombardi Avenue, there's first come first serve street parking in the city of Green Bay. If you're south of Lombardi Avenue and you're in the Schwabenon area, it's going to be slim pickings over there. Otherwise, there's a bunch of private lots, people on their driveways, grass, front yard. You can park. I've seen everything from $75 and up for the day. So Thursday afternoon is going to be a bit busy. It's probably the busiest day. So get there early.
Too old for this. Accuse me of doing insider trading there with the DoorDash comment. You got to play to win, man. I will say this, really excited. Ryan is bringing the family up, Ryan from Packernet Podcast. So it's going to be the whole crew, I believe, minus one. So going to bring 3 kids and his wife's going to come with. I'm excited for his wife, Alicia, to be able to meet Mandy and Jordan and obviously Kate. It's going to be a great time, man. It's going to be, they say it's going to be a football festival at the draft all day. So it's just going to be family environment. I can't wait to get out there and see the kids running the 40s and all that stuff, man. It's just going to be absolutely awesome. Stuff I didn't get to experience as a kid. It's so cool to live vicariously through other people's, kids, to see them having a blast and see some drunk grown men probably fall down running the 42. That's what I'm there for. Yeah. We got to have the camera rolling, no doubt about it. So, yeah. But
that will not be me. I will not be that person.
Mm-hmm. Greg Rice said, bring a snow shovel and an ice cream. We already looked at the forecast, sir. It's going to be awesome. We're looking at 55 to 60 degrees pretty much every day.
Well, it is Wisconsin. I will remind you that if you wait 10 or 15 minutes, the forecast might change. So it's not set in stone yet. Bring at least a raincoat for sure while you're up here. Emilio,
tell them what the temp's going to be down here tomorrow.
What, 85?
Yeah. I think 88. I think 88 Sunday they were projecting originally.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's toasty. Trust me.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Yeah, and I know everybody's worried about the night, like not Thursday night. Yeah, see, we're going to be hanging out at the draft during the day, and then going back and doing the live stream for everybody here. So we'll be out there during the warm weather, and then get back to the house and get everything set up. So draft party's on, guys. Live stream, first round, second and third round. We'll probably be at the draft on day 3, just hanging out most of the day. And if we get bored with it, then we'll get back to the house and do a live stream there and kind of button everything up. But you guys know day 3 gets to be a grind. But first round is going to be awesome. Second and third is probably my favorite. That's why I kind of hope they trade back and get a bunch of picks in the second and third round. I would be all about that, especially if they trade back up too. So it's going to be awesome, man. Awesome time. So make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you join our Patreon group. Again, the giveaway tomorrow, cutoffs tonight at midnight. We're going to be giving away an autographed Sean Ryan rookie card. Anyone who's in the $3 tier member or higher on Patreon, just a way for us to give back for those of you who support the channel. And be getting great feedback too. The numbers are through the roof, man. Absolutely through the roof. If we keep the pace we're going, we may fall a little bit short, but I'm thinking tomorrow there's a good chance we will be celebrating a new milestone here on the YouTube channel. 200,000 views in the last 28 days on the channel.
Let me just add to that, Clay. I'm pretty sure we would also be breaking 1 million views for the second time YouTube. The second time we've already broken 1 million views. You took some from us, but we're actually going to be breaking that, I believe, tomorrow as well.
Let's go.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Again, congratulations to everybody. I see everybody congratulating the chat. Congratulations to you guys, man. Y'all made this happen.
Yeah, we're at like 999,000 or 998,000 views. So
it's wild. Yeah. Silly
Click
little
that
stuff.
like button. Click the like.
Telling you, man, it helps more than you know. It does. Like I said, we had last week alone, we had 16,000 different people view the channel. So if half of them sub, we would double our subs, you know.
Right.
And I know everybody in the chat's already subbed, but if you're here for the first time and you like the content, hit that sub, man, for sure. Thank you, Bates. Appreciate you, man. Everybody, Greg, everybody, you guys are awesome. So we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Like Easton Butler was saying, we may get another top 30 visit or two come down the pike. And then, of course, my plan, Mandy thinks I'm a madman, but my plan is to keep the normal schedule. Tuesday night, we'll do a show, and then I'm on a plane 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, and we'll be in Green Bay by noon. So that's the goal here. So appreciate everybody. All the super chats tonight too. Clint gifting 5 Packers Total Access memberships. They will be entered into the contest tomorrow as well. Mike Hebring with the super chats tonight. We appreciate you, buddy. And Brambo, obviously being a member for 5 months here on YouTube. So that's it, guys. Appreciate your time. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a great night. As always, let's go out and be.
There we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.